My brothers, my sisters, let me tell you, the earth is generous. She births for us gifts wrapped in green skins and golden hearts. One such treasure, beloved by kings and paupers alike, is the avocado, that tender, creamy fruit that whispers health into the body and soul. But do not be fooled by her softness. She, like all of God's creations, demands respect. And when you mishandle her, oh yes, the consequences can be unkind. So sit a spell with me. Lean in close and hear a woman's warning. For I have seen what happens when wisdom is ignored. I have watched good folks stumble because they danced with a blessing and turned it into a burden. Let us talk about 6 mistakes. Not ordinary ones, no. These are the kind of errors that can wound, weaken, and yes, even kill. Ah, come close, child. Let us sit beneath the shade of wisdom and speak plainly, softly, truthfully, as the elders once did when the moon rose high and the fire crackled low. For there is something sacred in the way we speak of food, especially when it grows from the belly of the earth. And today we speak of a jewel, a green, golden, velvet-skinned offering known as the avocado. But here is the thing. Not every part of the blessing is meant to be consumed. You may think you can outsmart nature, that the seed in the center, that hard, silent stone, might carry some hidden elixir, a secret strength. You may be tempted, after hearing the rumors and whispers, to grind it up, to powder it down, to add it to your smoothie in search of everlasting youth. But I say to you, no, my dear, do not eat the seed. That stone was not meant for your stomach. That stone is a lesson dressed in armor. You see, there is a quiet danger hiding in that pit. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. But it is real. Contained inside that seed are bitter compounds, toxic alkaloids, and chemical guardians. Nature's way of saying, this is not for you. The seed defends itself with substances that may turn your insides against you. That is not a curse, that is design. Even the avocado, in all her generosity, must draw the line somewhere. I remember once as a young woman watching a child reach into a garden and pluck something beautiful, a flower with petals like violet silk, and she put it to her lips thinking surely something so lovely could not be dangerous. But beauty, beloved, is not the same as safety. That child became ill, not because she was foolish. No, children do not know until they are taught, but because she assumed nature always says, yes. That day I learned that the world whispers and shouts. Some things are for touching, others only for admiring. The seed of the avocado is no different. It sits at the center like a heart wrapped in stone, a mystery many wish to solve. But some mysteries are better left unsolved. We were given teeth, yes, but also discernment. We were granted appetite, yes, but also restraint. And wisdom, true wisdom, is knowing when to say, this is not mine to take. Some people, with their science and their studies, will tell you there are antioxidants in that seed. They will mention fiber. They will speak of strength. But, darling, every truth is wrapped in context. For what is strength without safety? What is potential without peace? You may survive the seed once, even twice, but over time, that bitterness builds a quiet war in your body. And no fruit is worth that battle. I have heard tales from sisters and sons who tried it. The powdered pit ground fine like dust, sprinkled in their drinks. And some felt fine, yes. But others found themselves ill, unsure why their bellies turned, why their heads spun. And the doctors, with their white coats and solemn faces, said, your body is rejecting what it was never meant to accept. You see, nature speaks. But only those who listen can hear her. Let us learn from the trees. The avocado tree does not invite you to the seed. It does not decorate it. It does not make it easy to chew. It is hard for a reason, dense for a reason. The tree gives you the flesh, soft, healing, rich with oils to bless your joints and glisten your skin. That's the gift. That's the offering. The seed is the secret, the part that's meant to go back into the earth, to start again, to be planted, not swallowed. So I urge you, I plead with you in the language of love and caution, leave the seed alone. You would not eat the bark of a tree to taste its fruit. You would not drink from a bottle labeled danger and expect healing. The seed is not your enemy, but it is not your medicine either. It is a stone of purpose, not consumption. The elders used to say, not everything that grows is for your plate. And they were right. Wisdom lives in knowing the difference. When you open an avocado, take only what was meant for you, the nourishing flesh, the creamy light of God's own design. Let the seed remind you that not all of creation belongs to the mouth. Some things belong to the soil, to the cycle, to the future. Let that seed go. Toss it into the earth and watch what grows. A tree, maybe. A lesson, surely. A new understanding of your place in this great, spinning world. Eat wisely. Live humbly. Love deeply. And remember, not every treasure is meant to be tasted. Some are meant to be honored. Now lean in close, sugar. I want to tell you something that might just save the life of a friend you love, a child you raise, or the faithful animal that sits at your feet and watches your every move with eyes full of trust. For in our care there is responsibility. In our kindness there must be understanding. And oh, how often we do harm with hands that meant only to help. Let us talk about that humble mistake, that quiet, well-meaning error of feeding avocado to pets. A soft word for a hard truth. What blesses your body may break theirs. You see, when the good Lord made creatures, the crawling, the barking, the flying, he did not make them like us. They walk the same earth, breathe the same air, feel love and sorrow, yes, but their insides are not mirrors of our own. And too many times we assume what heals us must heal them too. But mercy, no, that's not the way of creation. The avocado, beautiful as she is, carries a secret compound, person. In our human bodies she causes no trouble. We receive her oils and her creamy flesh with joy, and our hearts thank her for the nourishment. But to a dog, a bird, a rabbit, or even a horse, person can be a poison wrapped in a kiss. I've seen it. I've heard the stories. And I've held the silence that follows them. A woman once told me how she made a plate of guacamole, rich and green, spiced with lime and laced with love. Her parrot, perched on the window sill, chirped and danced at the smell. So she shared a taste, just a taste. A generous soul, she wanted to include her feathered friend in her delight. But by nightfall the bird was quiet. No chirp, no flutter, no joy. Just stillness, she wept. Not because she meant harm, no, never that, but because she didn't know. Her kindness was blind, and it cost her a life. Another sister, a woman strong as oak and warm as firelight, had a dog who followed her like a shadow. When she sliced her avocado each morning, she'd toss the skin, the pit, and the little leftovers to the ground, thinking nothing of it. "He's just licking the scraps," she'd say with a chuckle. But slowly, her faithful friend began to weaken. His belly turned sore. His eyes lost their spark. She sat in the vet's office one evening, confused and afraid, and when the doctor spoke of person toxicity, she felt a guilt no mother should carry. Let me say this plainly, avocados can be fatal to pets. Not always, not instantly, but they have the power to undo a body that was never built to receive them, especially the skin, especially the pit, especially in birds. Oh my, the birds, and in rabbits, who are so gentle, so fragile in their making. You must understand, their livers are not your liver. Their hearts are not your heart. And just because a thing is good for you does not mean it is good for them. That, my dear, is the first step in true wisdom, knowing that love must walk hand in hand with knowledge. Do not be fooled by their excitement. Animals, bless them, are eager. They trust. They assume the hand that feeds also protects. They will take what you give, not because they know it's safe, but because they know you. So when you give them something harmful, you are not just feeding a body, You are betraying a bond. Now, I do not say this to shame you. No, darling. I say it to awaken you, to remind you that responsibility is sacred. If you hold a creature in your care, if you cradle it, name it, kiss its fur, or scratch its ears, then you owe it the gift of safety. And so, when the avocado graces your kitchen, keep it yours. Savor it yourself. Let it bless your skin, your heart, your joints. But do not let it pass to the paws or the beaks or the whiskered mouths that live under your roof. You are the gatekeeper, the watcher on the wall. Instead, learn what is good for them. Sweet carrots for the rabbits, cool cucumber for the dogs, seeds and grains for the birds. Let them feast, but on what feeds their spirit and their biology. For nothing breaks a heart faster than watching a loyal companion suffer for a mistake you did not know you made. I once met a child, no more than 7, who asked me if animals went to heaven. I told him, yes, baby, yes, they do. But our job is to keep them here with us a little longer. And oh, how true that is. Our pets, they do not ask for much. A little warmth, a little water, a kind hand. And in return, they give us everything. Loyalty. Laughter, love that does not question or count. So let us give back what they deserve, care rooted in truth. Let the avocado stay on your plate. Let it be your blessing, your health, your joy. But do not let it steal what you cherish. Protect what you love, not just with affection, but with awareness. And remember, every act of feeding is an act of faith. And faith without wisdom, child, is a dangerous thing. There is a quiet danger, child, a danger wrapped in familiarity, in the things we leave out on the counter too long or forget in the back of the fridge. A danger we overlook, not because we are careless, but because we are busy, distracted, trusting. But let me tell you something deep and real. A spoiled avocado can turn on you like a friend you thought you knew. You see, the avocado is a tender thing, like a newborn dream, like a poem just whispered. She is soft and sensitive. She bruises easy, and she sours silently by the time she shows her face. By the time the black spots appear and the smell turns sour, the damage may already be done. Some people eat her anyway. They think, it's just a little brown, or the smell's not that bad. And I understand that, I do. We were raised to be grateful, to waste nothing, to eat what's before us and say thank you. But baby, there is a difference between being thankful and being thoughtless. And spoiled food, rotten food, should not be part of your praise. Let me walk with you through the truth of this. A spoiled avocado doesn't just lose her flavor. She begins to host invaders. Molds, bacteria, invisible armies that creep in and spread out, turning goodness into risk. Those molds may not just upset your stomach. No, some release toxins, mycotoxins, that wage war on your organs. They do not just whisper discomfort. They scream inflammation. They move in silence, but leave chaos behind. I have seen people fall sick after eating what they thought was just a little too ripe. I've sat beside them, held their hands, and heard them say, I didn't think it could hurt me. But baby, what doesn't look dangerous can still be deadly. Not all harm wears warning signs. Some comes dressed as dinner. You see, food is like truth. It must be clean to nourish you. It must be fresh to bless you. And once it begins to decay, once it turns from green to gray, from creamy to stringy, from rich to rancid, it's no longer love. It's no longer safe. It's a trick. A woman once told me, I paid good money for this avocado. I'm not throwing it away. I looked at her full of compassion and said, Child, you paid for it. Don't let it cost you more. Because a hospital bed, an aching belly, a poisoned bloodstream, that's a price far higher than the few coins you gave at the market. Your health is sacred. Your body is not a trash bin for fruit gone bad. Now I know what you might be thinking. How do I tell? How can I know if the fruit has turned on me? Let me teach you. The way my grandmother taught me, with senses sharper than science. First, use your eyes. If you see mold, not just on the skin but in the flesh, that is your sign. Mold grows deep, not just on the surface. One black streak may stretch into the soul of the fruit. Don't cut around it. Cut it out of your life. Next, touch it. Press gently. A ripe avocado will yield softly, like a kind heart, but one that's gone too far will cave in, will feel mushy, watery, or slimy. That is not tenderness. That is collapse. Then smell it. A good avocado smells clean, almost like fresh cut grass kissed with oil. But a spoiled one, oh, you'll know, she'll smell sour, fermented, wrong, like something trying to disguise its decay. Finally, taste only what you trust. If you doubt it, don't eat it. If it tastes off, spit it out. That is not waste. That is wisdom. Trust your body's warning bells. There is no shame in throwing away what is turned. No guilt in letting go of what no longer serves you. That lesson, darling, goes far beyond fruit. There are people, habits, and beliefs that once fed you but now poison you. Let them go. Let the old rot where it must. Make room for the fresh, the clean, the true. Just as a spoiled avocado can betray your body, a spoiled relationship, a spoiled lie can betray your soul. Both must be examined with care, and both must be discarded when they no longer nourish. I remember one day, I cut open an avocado that looked perfect on the outside, but when I opened her up, the inside was black and veined with mold. And I thought to myself, this is how life is sometimes. People show you a beautiful face, smooth and untouched, but inside pain, rot, and wounds go unseen. That's why we must look deeper, listen harder, trust our instincts. So don't eat spoiled avocados, and don't entertain spoiled energy. You deserve better. You deserve what heals. We are temples. We are poems in motion. And we must feed ourselves accordingly, not just with food, but with care, with boundaries, with discernment. Let the fruit be ripe, yes, but not past its time. Let the meal be sacred, not spoiled. And when you open the avocado and find her green and whole, whisper thank you. That is how we honor the blessing. But when she's turned, when she's gone sour, whisper thank you just the same and let her go. For wisdom is not just in what we eat, but in what we refuse to eat. And that, my dear, is where true nourishment begins. Now come sit beside me, sweetheart. Come rest your worries for a moment. Let me tell you something your body's been waiting to hear. Something your spirit already knows but maybe forgot in the hustle of the world. Even the sweetest blessing can become a burden if you take too much of it. And yes, I'm talking about that creamy, dreamy, beautiful thing we call the avocado. Now, I love the avocado. Lord knows I do. I love how she smooths the edges of my hunger, how she slips across the tongue like a whisper from heaven. I love the way she glows from the inside out, like she's been kissed by sunlight and marinated in mercy. But child, let me tell you, too much of her, just like too much of anything, can stir up storms where peace once lived. You see, there is a law to life, old as breath and deep as bone. Even goodness needs balance. A woman once told me, Miss Angelou, I eat 3 avocados a day because I heard they're healthy. And I looked at her. Heart full, voice kind. And I said, baby, water can drown you if you drink too much. Don't let your healing become your harm. Because here's the truth. Plain and simple avocados are rich. Not just in flavor, but in fat. Healthy fat, yes, but still dense, still powerful, still heavy on the body if you don't respect it. Now don't get me wrong. The monounsaturated fats in avocado are a blessing. They protect the heart. They comfort the joints. They nourish the skin until it sings. But if you pile them high, day after day, thinking more is always better, you're walking a tightrope. That healthy fat can turn into extra weight, sluggish digestion, and even a spike in your cholesterol if you're not listening to your body's quiet voice. Everything the avocado gives, she gives in abundance. Fiber, potassium, folate, vitamins A, E, K, all waiting there in her tender green. But too much fiber, that can clog you up. Too much potassium, that can confuse your heart. You see how the medicine becomes the malady. It's a fine line, sugar, a narrow road, and you have to walk it with wisdom. Your body is not a machine. It is a garden. It needs diversity, variety, light, and air. You wouldn't plant only avocado trees and expect to survive. No, child. You'd plant tomatoes, collard greens, maybe some sweet potatoes. That's how nourishment works. Through balance, through rhythm, through grace. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine eating 2, 3, even 4 avocados a day. You're thinking you're doing something good. And maybe for a little while you feel strong, but then you notice your jeans fit tighter. You feel heavy in the morning, like you're dragging a weight behind you. Your belly feels full, but not in the way that satisfies. More like it's been stuffed with something too rich, too thick, too much. That's not joy. That's imbalance. That's a lesson knocking at your door. Now don't let guilt in. No, ma'am, this is not about shame. This is about love. Loving yourself enough to ask, am I giving my body what it needs or just what it craves? The avocado is not candy, but it is seductive. It can become a daily habit, even an obsession, if we let it. And just like people, even good food must be taken in right portions. Even love, if smothered, can lose its song. Think of it like this: the avocado is a guest in your kitchen. Invite her in often, but don't let her take over the house. Share the table with berries and beans, with grains and greens, with lean meats and whole foods that sing in harmony. Let the avocado be part of the chorus, not the solo act. And for those of you with conditions, diabetes, liver troubles, sensitive stomachs, remember that the richness of the avocado can tip the scales faster than you expect. She demands attention, presence, awareness. You cannot eat her mindlessly. She must be enjoyed with full reverence, not consumed in haste. There is a beauty in boundaries, a wisdom in restraint, and a power in knowing when to say, that's enough for today. I remember a Sunday morning, quiet and golden. I sliced half an avocado, placed it gently on my plate with eggs and greens. I paused. I gave thanks. I ate slowly. And I felt full, not just in my belly, but in my soul, because I had honored the food, and in doing so I had honored myself. That is the lesson, baby. Not to fear the avocado, not to worship it either, but to respect it, to welcome it like a friend, not a god, to let it serve you, not control you. You are not what you eat. You are what you choose to eat. So choose with love, choose with knowledge, and choose with the kind of gentle power that knows a little can be enough, and more is not always better. Let 1 avocado a day, or even half, be your holy portion. Let it be a blessing, not a burden. Let it serve your temple, this body of yours, this sacred home, and not weigh it down, because you, my dear, were not made to carry excess. You were made to rise, to walk light, to live free. And everything you consume, everything, should help you get there. Now hush, child, hush just a moment. Let your breath slow and your thoughts settle, because what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. It might stir something ancient and sacred inside of you, something your grandmother knew but the modern world forgot. You see, not everything that touches the fire comes out better. Some things are born to be eaten as they are. And one of those things, one of God's most delicate creations, is the avocado. The avocado is not a warrior fruit. She does not take well to battle. She is not a potato, strong and starchy, waiting for the boiling pot. She is not a steak meant to be seared and charred. No, my dear, she is a silken whisper from the earth, tender and fragile. She carries her gifts in oils and soft nutrients that are easily bruised, broken, and burned. Yes, burned. Because when you cook an avocado at high heat, what you do is strip her of everything that made her healing. Her healthy fats, those monounsaturated miracles that bless your heart and soothe your joints, they begin to break down under fire. They turn bitter. They twist and tangle into something the body doesn't recognize, something your cells cannot use. You may think you're preparing a feast, but in that frying pan, you're laying your health on the line. You're taking something holy and turning it hollow, something gentle and turning it harsh. I've seen folks mash avocados into pancakes, stuff them in grilled sandwiches, fry them up in oil until they lose their soul, all because they think more is more. But baby, more is not always better. Sometimes more is a mistake. You don't have to boil love to prove it's real. And you don't have to scorch a fruit to make it nutritious. The avocado was made ready, born ripe, given to you already perfect, in its raw, green, glorious form. Now you may ask, but can't I bake with it? Can't I warm it just a little? And I say to you, yes, perhaps gently, slowly, like you're warming your grandmother's hands in yours. But not at high heat, not in a roaring oven or a sizzling skillet. Because when you do that, you do more than change the flavor, you change the chemistry. At high heat, those oils oxidize. They shift, they soar, they create free radicals. Those little invisible sparks that rust your body from the inside out. The very thing that was meant to protect your heart starts to work against it. That's not a meal. That's a betrayal dressed as dinner. And oh, how many betrayals we've swallowed in our time, thinking we were doing right, thinking we were feeding ourselves health when we were really feeding ourselves harm. But it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to honor the food and the body that receives it. I remember once watching my aunt, a woman who could heal you with a look and raise you with a song, slice an avocado straight from the skin. She didn't fuss with it, didn't fry it, didn't bake it, didn't bury it under sauces and spices. No, she placed it gently on a piece of toasted bread, sprinkled a touch of salt, a splash of lemon, and sat down like she was about to have a conversation with heaven. And I watched her eat that fruit like it was communion. Because that's what it is, child. It's sacred. The avocado does not need to be cooked. She needs to be cherished, mashed with grace, mixed with care, shared with love. And I know, there are recipes out there that call for frying and baking and stuffing and searing. But before you follow the crowd, ask yourself, is this about taste, or is this about nourishment? Is this about showing off, or is it about honoring your body? The world will try to dress up what is already beautiful. It'll tell you to add, to stir, to flip and twist and reinvent. But sometimes the deepest wisdom is in doing less, in letting things and people be as they are. Let the avocado be raw. Let it speak its truth. Let it offer you her full medicine, her untouched goodness. Use her in salads, in spreads, in smoothies. Let her whisper her blessings into your bones without having to shout through the flames. Because here's the truth. Child, some things break under heat. Some things turn bitter when pushed too hard. And not everything that survives the fire comes out whole. And isn't that just like life? There are people, dreams, even parts of yourself that were meant to be handled gently, not scorched, not forced, not twisted into something they were never meant to be. And the avocado, in her soft green grace, is a teacher of that truth. She tells us, you don't have to do too much. I'm already enough. And baby, so are you. So next time you stand in that kitchen, avocado in hand, remember what you hold. Not just a fruit, but a lesson. A reminder that softness is strength, that rawness is richness, that you don't need to change something just to make it matter. Eat her as she is. Love her as she comes. Let her be your healing, not your hazard. And let her teach you, every time you slice her open, how to be tender with yourself. Come closer, child. Come on now, don't be shy. Let your soul sit down in this moment with me, and let your ears drink deeply from the well of wisdom. Because today we are not just speaking about a fruit. No, we're talking about how you handle what has been given to you. And the avocado, that soft, green miracle of nourishment, teaches us one more thing before we part ways. You must know how to store a blessing if you want it to last. You see, the avocado is a sacred gift, but she is not a patient one. No, darling, she ripens with urgency. She matures like she has a sermon to preach and only a few days to deliver it. One day she is hard as stone, unyielding, untouched, waiting. Then suddenly, without warning, she is ripe, tender, fragrant, alive. And if you miss that moment, if you delay too long or store her carelessly, she slips into spoilage like a whisper fading into the wind. So many of us make this mistake, not because we are ungrateful, but because we are unaware. We buy her in bulk. We toss her in the basket. We place her on the counter and forget to watch her closely. Or worse, we refrigerate her before she is ready, sealing away her potential in cold, artificial stillness. We do not realize that in rushing or delaying, in misplacing or mishandling, we waste the very thing that was sent to nourish us. It's not just about food, child. It's about how we treat what we've been given. Let's start at the beginning. When you bring your avocados home, they are likely still firm. That firmness is not stubbornness. It's preparation. It means she is gathering herself, waiting to become all she's meant to be. And what she needs is not cold, but time. A little warmth, a little space, a little patience. That's all. So what do? You place her gently on the counter, away from the sun but not hidden from the light. You let her sit beside bananas or apples, if you want to quicken her ripening, for they release a little something called ethylene, a gas that nudges her forward, like a friend whispering, "Come on now, it's time." Then, once she yields slightly to your touch, when she gives under your fingers like a whispered, "Amen," that's your moment. That's your cue. That's when the blessing is ready to be received. But here's where many go wrong. They leave her there, thinking they've still got time. Or they put her in the fridge too soon, and she stiffens, unable to ripen right. Either way, the blessing is mismanaged. Let me be clear, you cannot force timing, and you cannot freeze purpose. You must learn to meet the avocado and life right where it is. If your avocado is ripe and you're not ready to eat it yet, then and only then you place it in the refrigerator. But not carelessly, no. You wrap it in love. Maybe a little lemon juice brushed on the exposed flesh if it's been cut, maybe nestled beside a sliver of onion to slow down the browning. You seal it away in an airtight container, like you're tucking a child into bed. Because preservation, my dear, is not about shoving something away. It's about protecting its essence until the moment is right. But I've seen it time and time again. Avocados thrown into the fridge while still rock hard, and days later, still as firm and unripe as the day they were picked. Or worse, avocados cut open too soon, exposed to the air before their time, their insides oxidizing, browning, curling in on themselves like a song sung off key. That's not just a fruit gone bad. That's a metaphor. A metaphor for how we sometimes rush love, rush healing, rush dreams, then wonder why they don't unfold right. Let me tell you this, a blessing out of season is no blessing at all. You have to know when to wait and when to act, when to place something in the warmth of readiness, and when to protect it from the cold of delicate, and sometimes, sometimes, we've already cut the avocado. Maybe we only needed half. Maybe we weren't as hungry as we thought, and now we're standing in front of a piece of beauty we don't want to waste. Here's where love comes in. You store the unused half with care. You keep the pit in the half you're saving. Yes, that pit is more than just a core. It's a guardian. It helps slow the browning, helps keep the heart of the fruit steady. Then you cover the surface with lemon juice or olive oil. Wrap it tightly with plastic, or better yet, Place it in a glass container with a sealed lid. You do not leave her bare and open to the air, because exposure to the wrong environment will always alter what something was meant to be. You shield her. You tend to her, because what you do with the leftover parts of a blessing says more about your spirit than what you do when it's whole. And if it's too late, if the flesh has browned, if the smell has turned, if time has had its say, then, child, you let it go. Don't force it. Don't eat what has expired just to say you didn't waste it. There is wisdom in releasing what can no longer serve you. So let me say it one more time: store your avocado with care. Store your gifts with grace. Watch the signs. Know when to wait. Know when to act. And above all, know how to protect what is still ripening in your life. Because whether it's an avocado, a dream, or a piece of your heart, how you keep it determines whether it nourishes or spoils. So be mindful, child. Be wise. Be gentle. And may you always know the difference between what is ready, what is still growing, and what has passed its time.